Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-Herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH show. Today, I have a whole bunch of stuff to share and talk with you guys about. I just got done finishing the Spanish version, so if all of a sudden I get all like, it's because my brain's trying to replace words with English and Spanish. It's going to be fun. Don't worry. Today, we're going to talk about the California initiative for phasing out gas vehicles in California, of course, and then the incident that happened with the latest protests in LA. And then ultimately, we're going to end up at the story that obviously ties into the Hollywood protests, and that is what is happening in Louisville, Kentucky regarding the Breonna Taylor case. Roll the intro. All right. So, as a general reminder, you guys can continue downloading the audio version of this show and every show on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. Okay, let's get started. Wait, before I forget, give me a like, give me a comment down there regarding this whole thing. I want to hear your thoughts as well on what you guys think of, that is that's happening with any of these topics. Okay. Now let's start. So it's the California topic. It's not really a big highlight. I think it's being made a big story because more than anything, because of the fear of what people don't know, right? And that is that just looking at so many comments on Facebook and online and generally online of people saying, "Oh my God, are they going to take away my gas vehicle?" No, they're not. That's not what they're saying. All right. Governor Newsom, if you didn't see the press conference, essentially I think it was like an hour or something like that long press conference, in a nutshell said, hey, by 2035, we want to phase out all sales of new gas vehicles. That was pretty much it. He went on to talk about why and how this is going to be good. But here's the basics of it, right? Here's what we can at least, or many people have already said that they concluded. One, money. Why? Well, because, with phasing something out, well, naturally, right, you have to look at everything else that now really goes with the supply and demand law, right? Saying, well, there's going to be a lot more demand for gas, more than there already is. So naturally, those people that own or have gas stations, right, operate gas stations, can charge more. What can I do? I have to sell you every gallon at $5-6. It's already like $3.50. It wouldn't be something that you really can argue against when California is basically like, yeah, shoot gas vehicles, right? Or allegedly saying that's what they're trying to do. What else? The DMV. Oh, the beloved DMV, right? Something like you have to accept that you just have to every year, depending on, I guess, what kind of vehicle you have to go and stand in line or make an appointment or try to do whatever you can with their website and ultimately pay, right? So pay what? Well, higher fees, of course, right? Because if you are right, or part of the group that decides to keep your gas vehicle, what do you think they're going to do? They already charge. If you have a vehicle that's older in so many years, you already pay more, right? And I know this for a fact. Nobody needs to tell me because I live there, right? Because your car is not as eco-friendly. So you pay more money. What do you think they're going to do when they phase out gas vehicles? Or allegedly by 2035, magically, they achieve to do that. Even though Governor Newsom, I think, arguably, we can say that it won't be around, right? At least not in government or in that, existing position. So even if all the other governors to come honor that commitment, that initiative, and then make it so by 2035. Okay, the DMV is like, oh, by the way, since now we have to somehow pay for this and pay for that, we have to charge you more money because you decided to be part of the group that keeps your gas vehicle. So that's what I mean by more fees from the DMV. So you have higher gas prices. You definitely have DMV fees. And to that, by the way, I didn't even say it in the Spanish video, but now that I'm thinking about it, maybe higher insurance, because somehow they're going to be like, oh, well, it's more dangerous to drive a gas vehicle now than to drive an all-electronic vehicle or electric vehicle. Something along those lines, right? So fees, more money, and you know, all these other I think hurdles they're going to throw at you until they force you to buy an electric vehicle, if they get there. More than anything, people are saying this is just a way for Governor Newsom to please the group of individuals that are more on the radical side, you can say. They're like, we want climate change initiatives. And it's just a way for him to be like, okay, great, I got it. We're going to do this by 2035. And it kind of worked, right? It definitely got some people all panicky because, you know, people took it like, oh my God, it's going to happen to me now. Listen, I mean no disrespect. Some of you guys are never going to be around. No disrespect. By the time this actually, if takes effect, And I mean around in California. I don't mean like, oh my God, I'm going to die. No, you're not going to die. Stop. I mean like probably going to move on somewhere else. Right? So I don't think this is something that anybody should be panicking about. See it as more than anything a political stunt. However, if this does take place by 2035 or sooner or later, more than anything, like I was saying in the Spanish video earlier, it's going to affect south of the border. Why? Well, let's see what happens now. When a vehicle doesn't pass smog, it has been known that people either sell their vehicle to somebody across the border or simply give away the vehicle or even just take it south of the border to Tijuana, right? Down there, they're calling them the cars. I don't know why. I don't know the connection here, but they call them carros chocolates, chocolate cars. I have no idea what. I don't know how. I'm sorry. Somebody can explain to me why, but I don't know why. But what's my point? So unfortunately, you know, a lot of times our hand-me-downs are like, here you go, younger sibling that we don't acknowledge we are related to, Tijuana. Here you go. Naturally. Why? Because it's a border town right there. San Diego, part of California. Whatever happens in California as a law, obviously is going to affect San Diego. What happens in San Diego, if you've been in San Diego or anywhere along the California border, including Calexico and all those other borders, it affects the other side, right? Now, what happens also, a lot of the governors on the other side, the bureaucrats on the other side, a lot of times they're like, yeah, we're going to do whatever they're doing over there, right? You see it all the time. I don't know if they do it to look good, you know, with the U.S. because Mexico has a problem with trying to always look good with the U.S. or they're trying to do it because they're like, well, might as well they're doing it. Let's do it too. I have no clue why, but you often see it. Take something like as simple as Uber and Lyft. The moment Uber and Lyft became a thing in California, specifically in San Diego, and it was popping, it was big, let's get it in Tijuana. The app, because I live there, I can tell you that kind of worked, kind of didn't work. You might have gotten the Uber the person that sit on the Uber thing. Maybe you didn't. Who knows? You know, but that's my point. That if it happens in San Diego, California, it's probably going to affect Tijuana, Mexico to some degree. So I see potentially an influx of these chocolate cars, right? Carros chocolates. Right, stuffing them right into Tijuana, which doesn't help Tijuana. Tijuana already feels very congested. All right? Again, I lived there. No one told me. I saw it, lived it for myself. Right? Is it as bad as maybe Mexico City? Which, by the way, I have also been to. No. But think about it. If there's Joe Schmo, Juan, Pedro, you know, Bob, Peter, whatever, that's like, hey, I guess I can't have this car here anymore, and I'm sure not going to pay DMV more money to pay, you know, for the higher prices on fuel vehicles. Hey, want to buy it? $1,000. People are going to be like, okay, let's get it over there. Making it a problem for Tijuana, right? So that's the potential that I see in the long run that people should be worried about. Not so much that someone's going to come and take away your vehicle, your gas vehicle. They're not going to make you get an electric vehicle. They're going to influence you. Like I just said for all the other previous reasons, they're going to influence you. They're going to be like, okay, no one's going to make you buy a new car that's electric. Fine. But you have to pay $200 now per year to keep your gas vehicle. And then you're like, are you serious? Like, already, is that just registration? That's fine. No. That's on top of your registration. Okay, I'll pay it. Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, gas is now $5 a gallon. So that's how I can see they can influence you. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen gradually. Again, even if we get to 2035, let's be logical with this whole thing. All right? Let's critically think about this whole scenario. How many jobs is it going to take away? How many jobs is it going to add? What kind of legislation needs to come out to make people, or, who's going to fight it? What lawsuits are going to come out? Manufacturers and all these companies are not going to just fold and be like, okay, well, that's what Mr. Newsom said. Of course not. That's why it's more of anything that's an initiative. So everybody in the comments and Facebook and everything, calm down. Your car is safe. Okay? No need to panic. All right. Let's move on to a more heavier, harder topic. And that is what happened in LA, I think the last 48 hours at this point. So if you didn't hear, for whatever reason, there was a recent conviction, right? That was made, or I don't know if it's conviction necessarily, rather, maybe I'm wrong there. What is it? I can't hear you. A verdict. Thank you. I don't know why she has to whisper over there. A verdict that was brought, right, with the recent case of Breonna Taylor, which we'll get into in a minute here. But that verdict, many people were not happy with, right? So riots automatically started just popping up all over the place. Okay. So what happened in LA is a vehicle, some dumbass driver decided to ran over a protester. It's on video. There's nothing that, you need to speculate. No, it's on video. Then protesters gathered in an intersection, right? To probably see what's going on, yell, chant, who knows. A Prius who wanted to turn or cross, because it's right in the intersection. I couldn't tell if it's crossing or turning. It doesn't matter. Inched its way through the crowd, right? Which then you can see a lot of people getting upset over, because you're not supposed to move. And then the Prius finally opened a wave, right? It didn't look like it ran over anybody. Now somebody can say, hey, ran over this guy's foot. I didn't see that, right? And this, but I mean, I say that because, here, let's play that video real quick while I talk. So you can see the Prius inching right through the helicopter view. It goes through the crowd. And then finally, it tries to take off. Well, what happens? You have this truck who, rushed to get right in front of it, cut it off, as you can see in the video. And, the driver proceeded to get off his truck and try to, reach inside of the Prius for the driver. I don't know if to hit him, scratch him, take him out of the vehicle. I don't know. You even see, other people on the other side try to open the doors, right? Finally, you see that the other, the rest of the crowd that was chasing after the Prius finally reached them. You have a Mustang apparently that the Prius backs up into, and and you see the driver of the Mustang trying to get off and do the same as the driver of the truck. The Prius finally, is able to escape, right? Because otherwise, let's be honest, if they would have got him off the vehicle, the guy would have been mobbed, beaten. I don't want to say beaten to death, but can we say that he was going to get off, or he was going to be taken off his vehicle and be like, hey, bring it in. No, he was going to be taken off the damn vehicle, and they're probably going to kick his ass hard, right? Now here's where anybody can start throwing arguments. He was trying to run over people. No, he wasn't. Here's something that I want you guys to do. All right, if just for a second, think critically. Put yourself in all positions. All right? I've seen people on the freeway through my freaking door, or through my window, I'm sorry. Right? Just looking at them, they're freaking like yelling and they're doing this and they're doing that. And it's just like the whole freeway is moving. This is not a protest. This is just like the freeway. This is like regular morning traffic. And you see people just like hitting their, like they're losing their shit. And then, they're like, and they're looking, you're like, I wasn't looking at you. You're like, oh, shit. And it's like a morning thing. It's like, dude, have a coffee. Now imagine a protest. Imagine they drive up to the intersection and they've seen this whole, group of people moving. He or she, like in many other protests, by the way, right? I covered another one that happened, unfortunately, in Austin, Texas, right? It's just sitting there and they're aggravated. You can say, why are they aggravated? It's not your business, dude. It's like if you were aggravated, I'm like, why are you mad? Why are you mad? You get more mad. So the person's sitting there, maybe honking. I couldn't tell from the helicopter view. Maybe honking. And then what do you have on the other side? Outside of the vehicle. Other people that want to be right. Because here, it's all about being right, right? The guy in the Prius is like, I won't move. In fact, I'm not going to go back. I'm going to go forward. And the people outside of the vehicle is like, we're not going to move. You move. Then what you get? This. You get this. You get people that either don't want to be wrong in front of other people because, oh my God, it's going to be so embarrassing. Or you get people that are like, I am right. I don't care what anybody says. I'm right. F everybody, America. And then what? And then you get a Prius with a broken windshield. And I don't know if they punched the guy. You get the guy from the truck. By the way, both of these individuals were allegedly brought in by authorities. Now, are they still in jail? Were they ever in jail? I don't know. No one wins. Now, you could definitely lose. And you can lose heavily. Right? The loss can be as much as your life, like we saw in Austin, Texas. Which, real quick note, some guy in the comments, I don't blame the guy, accused me of being someone that is an apologist. That's what I was called, an apologist. I'm not apologizing for anybody. Just making sure I'm real clear. All right? I use critical thinking, which you should try it once in a while. It's actually kind of cool. Why is it kind of cool? Because you get to see both sides instead of doing, nope, I don't see, I know there's a light right there, but I don't care. I don't care. It's dark in here, okay? And then you look like a fool, right? Because then you inch closer to a narrative that you're trying to hold on to, whether you're on the left or on the right of a topic. And then you end up looking one day up and you're like, oh, someone canceled me, which is what I always say we should do. Or, oh, here I am in the middle of a protest and I just got ran over. Or you're like, oh, someone called me out because I am starting to say things that don't make any sense. Again, whether you're going to defend the guy in the Prius and say he has a right of way, he is in the street, move out of the goddamn way, right? Protesters shouldn't be doing that. They definitely should be mobbing cars. With that argument, I can agree with. Or you're going to get on the side of the protesters and say, hey, they're there for a cause. They are not there every day. You have to understand and be at least understanding, right? And be empathetic over what is happening with the nation. You can turn around, little Prius, and do a U-turn. Both sides are right. Both sides are wrong. There is not a who is more right, who is more right, who is more wrong, rather. That's stupid. That's really, really stupid to even say. Because no one's going to give in. So ultimately, I believe that the cops, like in this situation, throw both of their asses in freaking jail. Right? Let them cool off there. I'm not saying give them a freaking harsh 15-year sentence. No. That's not what I'm saying. Right? We need to start looking at ourselves from the outside. I said that earlier, right? In the Spanish version. Oh, weirdly, right? Because I fumble with my Spanish and my English, to be fair. But, I mean it. I don't mean to be, romantic over this topic or what I'm trying to tell you, right? In the sense that, I'm trying to get you to see something that is not possible. It's possible. It's possible for you to take a minute and think about what you're about to say, what you're saying, what you're thinking of doing, what you're going to do, and what you already did. It's possible. The reason we don't do that often is because we believe we're right. It's because maybe we don't walk around saying, I'm right. But you subconsciously definitely do. Yeah, you're trying to be humble and everything, right? And totally say, I can admit when I'm wrong. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Tell that to everybody to look good. Sure. Go ahead. That's fine. Yeah. Your mom believes you and your sister, whoever else. But be honest. Look around. Most people start with arguments, start yelling, running people over, holding on to cars like the Prius video. Like, I don't know, all of a sudden they're going to grow all this strength and lift the vehicle up like they're freaking, Hercules, because they think they're right. The guy in the Prius is like, no, I'm going to get through here. Excuse me. Hey, you're hitting my car. Hey. And just right into the damn, crowd, not really genuinely thinking that there may be someone in front that maybe fell, not stopping and thinking about that. And then the people on the outside are like, hold on to the vehicle. Hold on. Stop it. Stop the vehicle. How are you going to stop a freaking moving mortar vehicle? What are you doing? But no, they'll hang on to it. They hang on to the damn car like they're about to stop it. And then you see them dragging and shit, walking after the damn car. What do you, let it go. And then what happens? Then you have someone who's like, you know what I'm going to do? In that moment, he decided, give him a car, give him my keys. Got into his car, raced down the street, also not thinking maybe there could be someone running on the street. Hey, maybe there's going to be a car coming, because if you notice in the vehicle, they ran through an intersection. Both did. Thinking maybe there's someone that's on a bicycle, innocent bystander, just with their headphones, maybe also not paying attention, right to the intersection. And he'll hit him. No, he didn't care. Right into the intersection. Right in front of him and say, oh, I'm going to get off now because I'm cool. I'm tough. Well, I'm fucking tough right now. I'm going to get you off the car and I'll kick your ass. What are you doing? No. I already got in my vehicle. I already hauled on the gas. I'm already hauling ass on the street. I can't stop now. Like, I have all these people watching me. How am I going to look? That's what it comes down to. Right? So, all right. Let's move on to the last topic. The last topic, unfortunately, it's even more heavy-hearted. And that is, of course, because it's dealing with the unfortunate case of Breonna Taylor. Right? The 26-year-old woman that was shot in her apartment. Right? So I'll give you the basics. If for some reason you have no idea what we're talking about. So Breonna Taylor is a 26-year-old woman that was in her apartment with her boyfriend, and police officers broke down her door. And after the boyfriend shot one shot, unfortunately, the officer returned fire, killing her on the scene. That is the very, very, very basic story, right? Basic details of the story, rather. So let's go deeper into some of the facts. I'm not going to sit here with anybody and argue hypotheticals. That can happen all day long. It can literally be infinite. What are some of the facts? Well, some of the facts are these. Breonna Taylor dated on and off a man, the ex-boyfriend at this point, as we'll call him, an ex-boyfriend, not the man that was in the apartment with her the night she died. An ex-boyfriend who unfortunately had a long, bad history of being a really bad dude, right? A guy that dealt drugs, a guy that did a lot of bad things, to the point where there was an investigation launched against him, and then an investigation that involved Breonna. Why? Well, again, because they were on and off for a long time. They were the night that she died, he was arrested. The judge ordered, or rather allowed, orders for no-knocks, raids, I guess you can call them, both at Breonna's apartment and where the ex-boyfriend was. Breonna, unfortunately, chose to be on and off for a while with a man that even got her in trouble because he rented a vehicle under her name, and then allegedly a dead body was found. Right? I don't know how long back this was, but it's another fact. The man received packages there that the police found very suspicious, and again, unfortunately, she got caught up with him for a while. She moved on, you can say, to a new boyfriend that, was with her the night she passed away. And, many people say she was trying to maybe, move on, be with someone that's better, possibly. Now, what else do we know? Well, we also know that the officer that this whole unfortunate thing, these latest rather, protest has happened, very irresponsibly decided to shoot, right? There's even the conviction named it. I don't know what it's called really. You can Google it. But essentially it's when somebody decides to commit something like an act like shooting a weapon, just, very irresponsibly, not knowing who you're going to hit. He just shot like 10 shots. It's what they say. And some of them even went from her apartment to other apartments, so definitely there was some a big issue there, right? Of the police officers doing that. One of the police officers, by the way, that night there was 3. And, those are some of the facts that we know. Now, what I can tell you guys is, that I believe that obviously there's no winners here. The person that lost the most, of course, was Breonna. Right? Breonna, whether for whatever reason, decided to first be with a man that, is a convict. I don't think I can say very many positive things about this individual, and got her, in trouble to the point where they were even investigating her, right? Whether because, they didn't believe that she was involved to some extent, or they didn't believe she was involved. They knew that was her apartment, and they knew that they wanted to go and see if there was anything that they could find in the apartment, which, by the way, they did not. That's another fact. They did not find any drugs or anything like that in her apartment. And then she decided to move on with another individual, another man, who that night decided, I don't hear the police knocking, even though neighbors said that they did knock, or witnesses, that's what they're saying. Witnesses are saying that the police served a no-knock warrant, that there's some sketchy stuff about later on the no-knock warrant became a knock warrant, something like that. Either way, they knocked, according to witnesses. The boyfriend, who was unfortunately the only person alive at this point, said, we didn't hear it. We heard something, but then we just heard, the barricade thing, right, that they used, or whatever they call that thing to knock down doors, hitting the door. Now, do we know if the police officers got there and they're like, police? I don't know. You weren't there. I wasn't. No matter what you say. If you said I was next door, I don't think you would be watching this show if you were next door, right? We don't know. Police can say, no, we got there. We said, no, police. One thing that we do know is that they should have been wearing goddamn body cameras. I would have. Even if you say, well, it's not the law there, JT. It doesn't matter. I'm about to go to a home, an apartment, whatever, that potentially is involved with some heavy illicit activity. Give me a body camera. I don't want anybody saying that I didn't do something that I should have done. Period. That's just my common sense. Right? It's no different than why people have, cameras on their dashboard. They don't have a camera on their dashboard because they're like, what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go Grand Theft Auto right now on this freeway. No. They put them there because, I'm going to be driving on the highway where there's hundreds of other people and shit happens. So let me put a dashboard camera. So I don't, agree too much as to the reasonings behind. Some of the cops are saying that's why they weren't wearing body cameras. Allegedly, they should have been. The no-knock warrant, well, some people, and I believe even the governor said that they're going to get, they're going to do away with them because things like this can happen. Where people inside saying we didn't hear, cops saying we did knock, and there's this back and forth. I get it. I get it why police officers have said we need no-knock warrants so that the bad dudes don't know we're coming. I also get the other side. In this case, like with Breonna, the boyfriend saying, we never heard anything. So, let's get that out of the way. Finally, let's arrive at the fact where I was trying to is, she got caught up with another individual that had a weapon on him and said, I'm going to protect our home, right? That's the way he can see it. And then shoot my gun. And then Breonna allegedly was standing in the hallway when the door completely failed or just, busted open. And, the cop proceeded to shoot, right? Hitting Breonna. Of course, the man with the gun, the boyfriend, because he just shot, and he's like, oh, we're probably going to get shot back at, somehow was able to run fast enough away and take cover. Meaning, leaving Breonna, in my opinion, by the way, there to take some of the bullets, right? Or not allegedly. This obviously happened, right? It's very unfortunate, right? It's very unfortunate that Breonna, got caught in the middle. It's very unfortunate that she lost her life because of, the men in her life. See it like, it was a very bad accident. See it as a very unfortunate thing. The fact is that these, both of these men, led her to lose her life. She, I don't know that she was involved with any illicit activity. That I didn't find anything like that. Some of the fact-checking websites are saying that she didn't. She was just unfortunately involved with men that made shitty decisions. I don't know. It's one of those things that definitely leaves you, or hopefully will leave many of you, to really think about some of the people that we may know in our life. Because at the end of the day, and I've said this before, right? If we can take anything away from these incidents you hear about, all over the news, all over the world, that occur every day and will continue to occur every day. Just like the rioters and people getting ran over and people running people over. And with the Breonna case is, what can we learn? That's really, if there's anything we can take away from this, is that. Can you argue and say, well, no, JT, this is also a good opportunity for us to take action and stand with the black community and stand with BLM? Okay, that's very general in my opinion, and that's a complete different video that I can do about this whole thing. I'm talking about individually, as you right now watching this video. Me watching this video, or making this video. Not watching it, sorry. What I can take away from this is never stopping to, or at least stopping in telling people, in seeing who people are with, and maybe advising them. Sure, we can maybe make people choose better partners, but it doesn't mean that we should stop, right? Sometimes I know it's very awkward. I've been in situations where, I don't really want to tell someone that they're with someone that's not really good for you, but it doesn't mean I stop. I've told them. Temporarily, I've lost some relationships. And then, funny enough, I've regained those relationships after they're like, oh yeah, she was crazy. So I have. I definitely have. I've told that to, female people that I know and male people that I know. Right? Because it's been family members and it's been friends. Because that's what happened to Breonna. Now you can say, well, the mom probably did tell her, dude. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And, we'll never know. At least I don't think I'll ever know. I just hope that someone did. And if my point is that if no one ever did, maybe out of being too embarrassed, maybe out of fear, maybe because, that boyfriend, that ex-boyfriend was scary, possibly. And, unfortunately, again, it led her to the point where she was wrapped up in this investigation. And then she was in the crossfire of a police officer that felt the need to return, I don't know how many, or almost emptying maybe his, almost emptying his, because I don't know how many bullets it holds, it could be the 61, right? The cartridge. I don't know, but returning enough fire where a lot of those bullets ended up in her body. And it's devastating, right? To know that, because, it's definitely a young individual that shouldn't have lost her life. And it happened. And who's alive? The cops are alive. The boyfriend's alive. The ex-boyfriend's alive. And she is not. And that is definitely unfair. Right? So that's just something to think about. Right? More than anything, it's, what can we take away from this story? Besides the political stuff. Right? Besides saying we should make a Breonna law that they're trying to do. And there's all those other political things. It's just what can we learn as individuals? So that is it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification if you want to continue seeing notifications about YouTube telling you, hey, JT put a video up like today. And then, listen, by the way, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. And that is it. Until next time. See ya.